Welcome back to From My Living Room to Yours. One of you posed the question recently, and I'm sure you meant it as a joke, what do you have for breakfast? Well, I happen to love breakfast. It's my favorite meal to eat out. Of course, I haven't done that in a long time, so I've had to be a little bit more adventurous here at home. Sometimes I treat myself to a frittata. It usually has to do with eggs. Recently, I browned a pound of ground sausage and froze it so that I can mix it in with my scrambled eggs and cheese now and then. And the other day, I even made some bacon scallion cheddar biscuits that were delicious. Obviously, I could go on and on about breakfast. But the other thing I thought of as soon as I read the question comes from a story in John's Gospel when Jesus literally says to the disciples, "Come and have breakfast." The story is when the disciples have gone out fishing and they haven't caught anything all night long, and the risen Christ appears to them. It's also one of the very funny stories in the Bible where for some reason Peter's naked out on the boat, and when he sees Jesus coming, he hurries and puts his clothes back on. We don't know why this happens, but it's in there. So Jesus tells them to try putting their nets in again, and they argue for a little bit and say it's not going to work. And then finally they decide maybe he has some wisdom and put their nets in, and what do you know, their nets come up full of fish. And while they're pulling in the nets, Jesus goes over to the shore, grills some fish, and calls out to the disciples, "Come and have breakfast." I've actually been to that location. They were on the Sea of Galilee, and some of you have heard me tell this story. Today, on that beach, there's actually a sign that says "No grilling." So what irony that that's where Jesus grilled fish and now it's not allowed. It's one of my favorite verses, partly because it's short enough to remember, come and have breakfast. But it also is a reminder that it is in Christ where we find our sustenance. Jesus says over and over again, "Come with me, come be with me." And that's where Jesus meets us, right there in the everyday, in the earthiness of life, grilling fish, having breakfast. So that's what I have for breakfast. I prepare something that I know will sustain me for the day, or at least until lunch. I imagine Jesus calling me, "Come and have breakfast, Brenda." And then I sit down to pray while I eat. It's a great way to start each day. I encourage you to try it. Until next time, be humble, be grateful, be kind.